Hello, my name is Caleb. I work with Office 365 for Microsoft, and I'm speaking with Jeremy from Clarity to discuss their Skype for Business contact center, Clarity Connect, and how partners can leverage it to help customers better take advantage of Office 365 and Skype for Business. Jeremy, thank you for the call today. Clarity has recently certified the Clarity Connect Contact Center for Skype for Business. Can you tell me why a contact center would be important for customers? What important customer needs is it meeting?
Hey Caleb, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. So Clarity Connect is contact center software that helps companies service external and internal customers. Clarity Connect does this by intelligently routing voice, IM, and web chat to the person most suited to resolve the inquiry, and by providing analytics and reporting to monitor and improve performance. The real intelligence provided comes in many forms. One example would be accessing data that's on your systems via a variety of methods to make routing decisions based on. For example, we could look up the account manager or the account team and check their status in Skype for Business. So we look at your caller ID, see who you are, and see who you most likely need to talk to. And then if they're available, we can route the call directly to them rather than put the call in a queue, have somebody answer it for you to say, hey, I need to speak to Jeremy, and then to have them transfer the call over to me. We can do that for you. We do all of this native to Skype for Business and Office 365 through the Microsoft APIs that we actually helped develop. And that gives us the ability to, without duplicating infrastructure or recreating things, just add the intelligence layer that's missing from Skype for Business to route those calls.
And what's Clarity's background in this space?
Clarity is a Microsoft Gold partner, and we're the developer of Clarity Connect. We deliver premier products and solutions that leverage Link and Skype for Business as a communication platform. This allows companies to significantly reduce costs and complexities within their IT environment. We helped Microsoft create the software development toolkit that was delivered along with each version of the APIs going back to OCS all the way up through Skype for Business, Office 365, and the current Skype for Web SDK that's being used now. We developed and delivered the first native contact center to use those APIs to fill the contact center needs on every version of OCS, Link, Skype for Business, and so on.
So how do you see Clarity standing out as an important piece of the Skype for Business infrastructure?
Clarity Connect serves as a critical piece for Office 365 and Skype for Business by unblocking the needs that customers have for contact center. Every organization, whether they call it a contact center or not, has one. Maybe they call it a help desk. They have some rule or process that governs the routing of communications within some part of their organization. And that's what a contact center is at its most basic level. So Microsoft made the decision early on not to include contact center in OCS, Link, Skype for Business, and they wanted to create a platform that enabled third parties to add this functionality so people can get exactly what they want and need. And we approach it in the way that I think would have been Microsoft's own approach had they decided to do it. The native approach that we have with Zero Desktop Client, where they're just using Skype for Business and interacting with the calls there with some additional metadata that we deliver to the agents. We fill that need and solve that problem, removing the roadblock, and that is what I think makes us a critical piece and sets us apart. And we do it without duplicating any infrastructure. We don't ever take the call away from Skype for Business, so that call stays in that infrastructure, keeping it simple. The agents have access to all of the subject matter experts and the other agents and the information that they would need to take care of their customers.
And how do you approach customers? When they come to you, what are they asking for?
So presenting to the customers is different, right? There are a couple different approaches we see. People come to us and they're either coming from the IT side of the house, and they're going to care about the native aspect. They're going to care about simplifying support, not duplicating costs or infrastructure. And so when we're talking to IT, we're going to address those needs and those problems and how we solve those by being a native component to Skype for Business. When we look at the business, the other side of the house, they don't care whether IT has to have 5 extra servers in the server room or not. They care about the ease of use, the power of the features, the flexibility of the product. And they're looking for a full-blown contact center, and that's what we're going to add. We're going to add whether they're looking at simple web chat or they want full-blown contact center with voice and IM and everything else. We're going to talk to them about those needs and how we're going to simplify their day-to-day interactions with the system.
So it's clear that Clarity can really help a customer get some of the needs they're looking to have met with Skype for Business. How does a partner benefit from working with you? Are there resale opportunities, or does Clarity have sales support?
Partners and Microsoft sales are going to be interested in our product or benefit from it because we're going to unblock those sales. When they go out and they're trying to sell Microsoft's Unified Communications or Unified Communications and Collaboration Suite, there's a hole there. There is some functionality that was intentionally left out, and we're going to fill that need. We're going to be that contact center that works natively, so the users only have to worry about their Skype for Business client, and everything else is handled by Clarity Connect and the Skype for Business infrastructure. That's going to enable them to close those deals that they wouldn't, or get the additional seats, right? A lot of times what they do is say, give us everything but leave your contact center on whatever other platform it's on today. So then IT is stuck supporting 2 different systems, and people are worried about the integration and the interactions between the two. And it's tougher for the contact center agents to reach out to subject matter experts within the organization. We're going to make all of that simple and keep it all on Skype for Business. And that's going to make the customers happy, make everybody in IT happy, and get those additional seats and put everything on one simple infrastructure.
And how does a partner work with you? Does Clarity have a partner program?
We have a very extensive partner program. It's very easy for partners to get involved, but it is there are some requirements they're going to have to meet. When I first got into this years ago, 15 years ago, I was doing Cisco and i3 and other systems, and when I went to hire engineers, I would look for people who were certified. And I would get guys who could come in and they were certified, and they were what I consider a paper certificate. They would sit down and talk a big game, and they would know how to answer the questions. But when I asked them to actually log into a system and start to interact with it and show me how they could build a call flow, for example, they wouldn't know what to do because they went out and they memorized a test king, and they went and took a written exam and passed it, but they had no practical application, no true knowledge of the system. So our certification program for partners is very intense. They're going to spend a week in Chicago, or we're going to go on site if they have enough people there that are going to get trained, and we're going to do a week-long intense course. They're going to install the product. They're going to configure the product. They're going to troubleshoot the product. They're going to build 3 different levels of contact centers, from simple to moderate to a very elaborate contact center. And then on the last day, we run them through 3 different exams. There's a written exam. If they pass that, they do a lab practical exam where they build out a contact center, and we treat it as if it was a customer going live on day 1. Is there anything that would have prevented calls from routing? I mean, if there's something minor, right, like this queue is named this instead of that, that's not going to prevent calls from routing, so that's fine. But if calls can't get to agents, if agents can't answer them and interact with them and transfer them, then that's a problem. If they pass all of that, then we kick them out of the room and we break 2 things on the system and we bring them in and start a stopwatch. And you've got 60 minutes to find it and fix it. So the people who pass the exam who are certified as partners on Clarity Connect can talk intelligently about the system. They can install the system. They can configure the system. They can troubleshoot the system. When you go to a Clarity Connect partner, you can be assured that they're going to be able to take care of your needs. And so that helps them with credibility in the industry when they go out to sell this. They're not just a reseller who goes, well, I can put you in touch with a partner. They can actually do this stuff and do it very well. So partners can reach out to us, or people interested in becoming partners, by visiting connect.claritycon.com/hello, and we can get those conversations started today.
I can see why Clarity Connect is an important part of the Office 365 and Skype for Business solution. It meets important business needs, it can unblock sales, It offers contact center functionality at a price point that allows customers to use it throughout their organization. And it provides a simple but powerful and easy-to-use interface for customers to promote deployment and adoption. And there's a profitable reseller program. And finally, you're helping customers better take advantage of Skype for Business.
Caleb, thanks so much. It's always a pleasure to visit with you, and I hope that everybody finds value in this opportunity. Thanks.
Please visit connect.claritycon.com/hello to incorporate Clarity Connect into your sales portfolio. Hi, we ended the recording, but afterwards, Jeremy presented us Clarity Connect, and I thought it was really interesting, and I think that it would really benefit if you took a look at it. So here's Jeremy. Check it out.
So what we've got on screen right now is the Clarity Connect dashboard, and this is what I like to call a real-time interactive view into the contact center. We can see an overview of what's going on in the contact center summarized here in the middle of the screen. Down the left-hand side, we can see the queues that I have the rights to view. My visibility here would change depending on the configuration and some other factors. You can create different templates and things like this. But we can see also some health indicators down the left-hand side. These are the queues that I'm responsible for, and we've defined the service level as the key metric, the health metric here. And then we've set thresholds so that I have a visual indicator. When I see 80% or higher have met the desired service level, then it's green, letting me know that everything's healthy and good to go. If we see it drop below 80% into the 70 to 79% range, then it's yellow, so I have a visual indicator. And if it actually goes below 70%, 69 on down, it's red, letting me know that there's a problem. So as a supervisor, I can glance at the dashboard and instantly see areas that need my attention. When I dive into a queue, I can see the statistics that I've defined as most important. I can hit the See More button to dive in and identify areas that need my attention and ways that I could improve these factors. I can see the agents that I'm responsible for, and if I double click on an agent, I can see every status change they've had throughout the day. I can see how many sessions of each different modality they've had and things like that. From here, I would, as a supervisor, also be able to view the calls that are in the queue, see active conversations. From here, I could do silent monitoring, whisper join, coaching in the contact center world. Once I've done either of those, I would be able to barge in and take control. I've got a tear off button, so if I go tell my agents I noticed the service level was bad, and I go tell my agents, I want you guys to make a change your greeting or do something so we can get this service level back up. I can go hit this tear off button, and it's going to give me a miniaturized view of just this queue that I can move around on my desktop. I can do all the same things, dive in, I can shrink this down, and just keep this in a corner of one of my screens so I can make sure that things improve over the next 20 to 30 minutes. I also have filters. If we're looking at calls and chats and I want to see we've got problems here, if I eliminate the calls, we can see that the chats, we've actually handled 100% of those. So I want to be able to dive in and take a look at the calls. And when we see the calls, we see all the numbers change when we're only looking at the calls. So the IMs are actually lifting us up a bit here. But I've got a real-time interface that lets me dive in and see everything going on in my contact center and be aware of it. Next, I'm going to pull up the admin interface so we can take a quick look at how the call flows are built. One of the biggest pain points in the contact center tends to be your call flows, how your calls route through the system and how you add that intelligence. The contact center call flow that we see here is a visual call flow. We're going to check a calendar. We're going to go here and look at Microsoft Dynamics and do an automatic lookup in the call flow on the caller ID or on a case ID or some piece of information that we've asked the customer for. Then we're going to route through the menus. We can add some real powerful intelligence here. Like I could look in Dynamics and I could recognize Caleb's phone number calling me. And I would be able to look up the account owner and say, hey, Ian is the account owner when Caleb calls. So let's go check the status in Skype for Business of Ian. If he's logged on and available, let's just transfer the call directly to him. There's no need to queue that call, have Caleb wait in the queue, get the call answered by me to say hello, and Caleb say, hey, I need to speak to Ian, and me to transfer the call to Ian. If he's logged on and available, we know he's the account owner and that's who Caleb's calling to talk to. We transfer the call directly to him. If he's logged on but not available, we can set him as the preferred agent before we put the call in the queue. But if he's not even logged on, we can just get the call queued and get it to the next available agent. We also have some real logic level checking built in here. I'm just going to show how easy it is to make a change in the system. I'm going to take our option 9 here, which is new set queue, and I'm going to change this to do a new set queue. When I hit save, the call flow is going to redraw itself automatically on the fly, laid itself out. The new call flow node is here, but it's highlighted in red, letting me know that there's a problem with this. It's not going to let me publish this and make it live and let a customer have a bad experience. We need to go take a look at this and see what's wrong. We didn't set the queue. We said we were going to set the queue. But above and beyond that, it knows that this is also not a valid end state for a call or an IM or web chat. So it drew a line and added a red missing box. So there are actually 2 things wrong here. So I need to go edit this, and we're going to actually set the queue. So we'll put this in customer support. And then we're actually going to drop it in the queue. And again, when I hit save, it redraws the call flow. The logic engine kicked in. All the red is gone. I've now got a valid call flow. I can publish this and make it live for the next inbound call or chat. Before I do that, maybe I want to get Caleb's approval. I can save this image and upload it to SharePoint or drop it in an email and send it off for approval. The last thing I want to show is the actual agent experience. So just give me a second here. I'm going to put a live call in through the system, and we're going to take a look at what it's like to answer that call and interact with it inside of Skype for Business. Now here we can see the agent experience inside of the Skype for Business client. I've answered the call. Here we can see the information that came through in the toast message. I saw that it was Clarity Connect, so I knew it was a contact center call. I can see the queue that it's coming from in case I need to greet the caller differently. I can see the caller ID. In the extension pane where you view meeting content and shared desktops and things like that, we've populated the web-based agent console experience. So at the top, the agent has buttons for call controls. They can enter notes about the call that are going to follow it through the system. If they transfer this call to another agent, they'll see the notes. They can tag it with a disposition and sub-disposition. What was this call about? And we'll use those later on in the reports to break it down. I can put the call on hold. The button will become a stop holding button and add a timer to let me know how long I've had this caller on hold. I have the ability to start and stop recording. So if I need to take sensitive information like credit card information, social security number, something like that, I can stop the recording, get that sensitive information, and then start the recording again. Or we can set or override recording at 4 different levels or do on-demand recording. I can transfer to other agents. I can see their status. I can go directly to their voicemail without it ringing or beeping in their ear. I can invite them to join the conversation without handing off control of the customer. Or I can do a traditional cold transfer, send the call off, or a warm transfer and say, hey, Caleb, I've got so-and-so on the line. Here's what I've tried. Can I transfer them to you? Same type of thing when we look at transferring to another queue, but we're going to add some intelligence here where the agent can see how many calls how many agents are online, how many are available, and how many calls are in the queue ahead of them. So you don't just blindly send your customers off to another queue. We can also transfer to contacts. Anybody in the organization who's a subject matter expert or outside of the organization. So if I want to find somebody who's not in an agent or a queue, I can find John, I can see his status, he's a subject matter expert and he's available, I can reach out to him, or I can see my federated contacts because we're native to Skype for Business.